what your kind of basic idea level outline is. And we did the idea level outline for serial, right? Where I just said, just put down, the ideas that you're going to have in these paragraphs. For a sentence level outline, it's made of complete sentences. Okay. So it's not just what you saw here with just, ideas. It's actually going to be sentences. So let's take a look at one of our samples here. So here I have sample 1 and sample 2. We're actually going to take a look at sample 2 first, because this is a little bit closer to what most of you will probably do. My other sample, the guy wrote like kind of paragraphs, but this is what yours should look like. Okay, you're going to be using the form that I have right here. Here's the outline form. You pull that up, it'll pull up this blank form here. Wait for this to load for a second. And once we get into this sample that I'm going to show you here, you'll see why this is such a helpful piece of writing. Like I said, why it's not just busy work. Okay, I promise I don't give busy work. I try to cut out anything that I really consider busy work. Okay, so here we go. Here's the form that you're going to use. You should start thinking of a title. That was something that I saw with almost like every essay one, no original title. You literally just labeled it essay 1, even though I told you in the checklist and in class, come up with your own original title. So you need to start thinking of a title for this paper, right? Then here is where you're going to put your new revised thesis. Take what you have in the research proposal and try to refine it so it looks more similar to like what I just did here for this practice thesis. Okay, so we want to make sure we have our clear thesis, then our topic sentence, then those couple sub points for each area. Oops, cut this out. Okay, and then conclusion, restate your thesis, and then discuss the significance of the topic. Okay, so let's take a look at what this looks like in a student sample. Okay, here's sample number 2. Okay, and we can see they're doing MLA stuff, still put everything in MLA. That didn't go away. If anything, by this point, it should be perfect. Okay. Here's their title, Revolving Cell Doors. I like that. I like that. Revolving doors, but they're putting cell kind of right, harkening back to this fact that recidivism is a huge problem. Our prisons have revolving doors. So I like that. Here's their thesis. In order to reduce recidivism, U.S. prisons must make reforms by providing education, job training, and health care. So similar to the sample one I just did. Okay, so we have that thesis. Now we're going to take a look at their actual body part of the outline. So let's take a look at this first one. So their first point that they bring up in the thesis is education. So the first thing that we want to do is construct your topic sentence, right? That makes a claim about that certain idea, and it's education. So let's take a look and see if they have a clear topic sentence that is making a claim. So we have topic sentence, by offering inmates education programs, they will have more employment skills and life skills, which will help prevent recidivism. Okay, that's clear. And they're making a claim, an arguable claim. Okay, so we have a clear claim up there in the topic sentence. They're making the claim that education leads to employment opportunities, which prevents recidivism. Okay, so then we have their subpoints, right, throughout that paragraph. And you'll see incomplete sentences. So the first thing they did here, you can see, is addressing the opposition. Some critics are against education because they see it as a privilege that should not be granted to criminals. Okay, then we see these next 3 points are their side, right, where they're countering and they're explaining why education is important for employment, life skills, and to reduce recidivism. So we see education provides more career opportunities, which means there is a higher earning potential, complete sentence. Education gives people insight and may help change behaviors, complete sentence. And the last one here, prisons should offer non-academic education programs as well, such as parenting classes, anger management classes, financial management classes, etc. Okay, so again, complete sentence. So we can start to see, right, this paragraph take shape. They have their topic sentence done, it's clear, it's making a claim, and then I can see the four main ideas that they're going to be using to support their topic sentence right here, all spelled out for them, right? Then they just have to like insert some transitions and the research and start putting it together. Take a look at their second point, works very, very similar to what they did with the first point. So topic sentence number 2, again, needs to be complete sentence, needs to be making claims. Topic sentence 2, job training programs are another way prisons can work to ensure inmates are not recidivating. Okay, good. Again, making a claim. Some people would argue that that's not true, right? So we're always looking to make sure that we're dealing with something that's actually arguable, and it is, and it's making a clear claim here. Just like they did with that previous paragraph, we can see the points that they're going to be discussing in this paragraph. They're addressing the opposition first. Like education, some critics are not supportive of job training because they see it as another benefit that inmates should not receive. Current job training programs are not always thorough, and that would be a good point to, for example, bring in like Orange is the New Black, right? Where Piper explains like her job assignments, right? Where they just get like the old manual on how to work with electricity. And it's like, that's a really dangerous job, and nobody actually taught her how to properly do these things, right? So this would be a good place to use that. And then we see their other point here, job training will help inmates gain employable skills. Again, clear sentences, complete sentences. And these are the points that are going to build that paragraph. Moving on to the third section, right? Once again, we have a clear topic sentence here. Another area of needed reform in the prison healthcare sentence. Is in the prison healthcare system. Those who oppose in prison healthcare find that inmates receiving healthcare is unfair, like the education and job training programs. So their first point is addressing the opposition. Then they bring up the point that healthcare is a necessity for public health, right? This is something that where they could talk about, or if you were going to write about this type of essay in healthcare, you could talk about, right, what these people are going to leave prison and then they're going to come back out into society. And if they haven't been taking care of their health and haven't been treated for anything, they could be bringing communicable diseases right back to our communities, which is a public health problem, right? And it even creates kind of a public health problem within the prison, right? If a couple of inmates are sick and they're not getting treatment, that can spread across the prisons like wildfire, as we saw COVID do, okay? And then their third point, prisons should offer multiple types of healthcare, including mental health care and addiction treatment. Okay, so then we know the third point that they're going to be talking about in this healthcare paragraph is going beyond just what we consider physical healthcare, right? Talking about mental health care, addiction treatment, those types of things. Okay, so then in the conclusion, you'll see here on your form, let's go back here. Restate the thesis and discuss the significance of the topic. And you'll see here they have their thesis restated. In order to reduce recidivism, American prisons must improve the programs and services for inmates. And they have a sentence here for conclusion. This is important to society because we have such high numbers of incarceration. Okay, so these two are also complete sentences and we would just build on them, right? But we have a couple of sentences to get us going for the conclusion. And we have topic sentences to get us going for each body section, right? As well as those points, the individual points that we are making in clear sentences. Like I said, so if you do this the right way and with enough detail, then when you sit down to actually turn this into paragraphs, it's so much easier because you already have your topic sentence claim. You already have your main idea points throughout the essay. You just have to actually, like I said, build in transitions and use the evidence from Orange is the New Black and your research to help support these ideas that you're claiming in that paragraph, right? So is it a little bit of extra work? Yeah, of course, right? It is. But as with all those other forms of pre-writing that I've showed you this semester, taking the time to do this helps you maintain strong organization as you are drafting. And in a paper like this, it's key, it's critical to right, have clear organization, because you're writing a research paper, not just a research paper. Like I said, this is your final. This is where you're demonstrating to me that you are proficient in these skills and that you're ready to move on to take English, right? 103, 104, and basically any other college course. So this is actually a very helpful document, even though it is an extra step that we put into our writing process. And again, I'm going to nag you and remind you of the research that has shown that even just a few minutes of pre-writing, like doing brainstorms and outlines, helps students score higher than those people who did not take the time to do brainstorming or outlining, right? And as we said, that's because they haven't planned. When you have a plan, it's much easier to get everything down out on that paper. Not just because, right, you've already created an organization structure for yourself, but like I said, you're not trying to hold on to all that information in your head, right? You're not trying to recall your mind outline. You actually have the physical outline so that you can just work on actually building the paragraphs, and you don't have to remember, oh wait, what was my next point? What else was I going to talk about in the education program? And then you sit there and you're like, crap, I don't remember what I was going to say. You have your outline. So you could say, okay, my next point about education was that it gives people insight and perspective and can help them change behaviors. You don't have to try to remember that. It's in your outline. So yes, a little bit of extra work, however, saves you a lot of time, a lot of hassle, and a lot of trouble later on when you're drafting. Like I said, a lot of students want to skip this and they think they can just like go back to that mental outline. It doesn't happen, you guys. It does not happen. As you are trying to write, your mental outline is deleting itself. We want a physical outline that's going to actually help you remember your ideas and keep them ordered. Okay. And if you want to like insert, additional sentences where you're weaving in your research, you absolutely can. In fact, let me show you part of this student's outline. Okay, he ended up like starting to write little body paragraphs, kind of did like including quotations. However, the problem with this one, as you see, is it doesn't list out the different points that he's going to actually talk about. It just kind of seems like one idea. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, though some believe that they should exist solely to punish inmates, prisons need to rehabilitate them by treating them like human beings and by giving them skills that they can use when they transition into society outside of incarceration. Okay, so we have a topic sentence number 1. In spite of a system designed to punish people for the crimes they have committed, prisons should consider inmates people and rehabilitate them. Okay, so that's their claim that they're making, right? Is that we have to humanize people. We shouldn't be trying to dehumanize, and we should be looking at trying to rehabilitate them because they are people. Okay, so clear topic sentence. And then we can see here, like I said, though, instead of listing out those 3 or 4 subpoints that he's going to be using to support this topic sentence, he kind of went in there and started like writing a body paragraph. Now, like I said, it's good because he got started on the body paragraphs, but what other points are you bringing up in that first paragraph there, right? You see how this one lists out the different points, and this one doesn't really list out the points. We have the topic sentence, and then he kind of launches into using research, which, it's okay, but like I said, it's not really leaving himself a map, right? This version still kind of requires you to remember what your next couple points were. According to Harvard sociologist Bruce Western, and here he's introduced the material, there is an unstated assumption deep in the DNA of criminal justice jurisprudence that the world divides into 2 categories, and there are victims and offenders. And the system delivers a certain kind of accountability by punishing offenders on behalf of victims, end quote, right? And then he cited here, when a crime is committed, it is easy to see that crime in oversimplified terms. A criminal is bad, a victim is good. The truth is that every crime comes with specific circumstances. To rehabilitate a criminal is to recognize his or her inherent humanity. Okay, so those are great points that they're bringing up too, but again, like where are we going from here? So you're saying that, okay, that we need to consider them humans and not just strictly punish, but rehabilitate, I'm not getting those other like subpoints though that you're talking about in this paragraph. Let's take a look at number 2. It's kind of the same thing. Prison reform is necessary because the best, most lenient prisons like Danbury employ staff members who are not committed to helping inmates. Okay, so this one, his next point is about changing staff personnel, right? Making sure personnel is also on the mission to rehabilitate and humanize people. So we get his first point. Kerman notes that many of the staff members, whether bosses or teachers, showed little commitment to rehabilitation. One instructor she nicknamed Stumpy, quote, and like the way he's weaving that in, was an inadequate excuse for a teacher. His attitude towards his pupils was simple. I don't care if they never learn that 1 + 1 = 2. I get paid for 8 hours of work. End quote. We see the citation. Examples like this demonstrate a need for better services, starting at the level of employing quality staff members to help inmates in a genuine manner. Again, great that he used the quote. And I love his commentary here, really explaining, situating this quote. But where are those other points here, right? Where are the other points that you're going to make? And then number 3, prisons should seek to create environments and programs that will lead to positive transitions back into society. Okay, good. Another clear claim in that topic sentence. And we see once again that he's using his research, but I don't see a citation, which is something that he would need to insert there, right? Don't forget your citations. And if you're using those school databases, opposing viewpoints, right, or anything that you used, basically in our Citrus library, they come with those citations already pre-made for you, right? But if you're doing like Google Scholar, those types of things, you'll have to either use the Google Works cited stuff or use the citation machine or EasyBib like I showed you for essay 2. So make sure you're doing those citations. And again, doing them right then and there is helpful so that you don't forget, or at least putting a note to yourself, right? Like a big note to yourself, come back and fix this, right? Do a parenthetical where you're reminding yourself that you have to come back and fix this. All right, those types of things are helpful so that you don't forget to put the citation, because oftentimes students do. This can only happen if prisoners are allowed to find work within the prison system that resembles work they will need on the outside. This means that job training has to be meaningful and comprehensive. Okay, so what do we mean by comprehensive, right? I don't have any additional bullet points like we have in our other example here, right? And then the fourth one, in addition to meaningful job training, prisons should offer classes on academic subjects, social skills, and anger management. And then we get the same kind of thing, setting up a quotation, right? Need a citation. Prison systems need more programs like this one where inmates can share their stories with one another in a non-threatening way. A creative writing course can help build writing skills, can provide those who are incarcerated with a voice, and can help them move at least their aspirations beyond the walls of their cells. So I like what he is writing here. Don't get me wrong. His writing, like some of the sentences and the ideas are sophisticated, but like I said, the organization of it could be more helpful if he would have included those additional subtopics, right? And not just left it as like, here's my first piece of research and my first piece of commentary, right? If you want to weave in the research and the commentary here in this outline, you can, but you want to make sure that you're listing out, the different points that you plan on discussing in that particular body paragraph, like you see here on the second sample, okay? So a really good outline would kind of be a combination of what this student did by including, their research, and what this student did by listing those subtopics, okay? But this is more along the lines of what I'm looking for this assignment, because as we said, here's the skeleton of their entire essay. Here's the skeleton, the entire essay from thesis to conclusion is all mapped out in complete sentences. Okay, so do I have any questions on what we're doing in terms of this outline? Okay, no problem. What we're going to do, like I said, on